welcome back to my channel. If you are new, I am a queer disabled YA author and sometimes a freelance writer and editor. So today's video, I thought I would do a little tour of my library. So the library is a work in progress. We just moved into this house at the end of September, so it's been 5 months that we've been here, and it's definitely a work in progress, but it's mostly sort of done. So I thought I would give you a quick little tour and show you around my library. I was actually waiting on something to come from somebody else, something that I didn't have any control over, to film a different video for you to go up today, but alas, it has not arrived. So here I am putting on my thinking cap and doing what I can do today. Thankfully, it is a beautiful sunny day outside, despite there being a buttload of snow. So we've got great lighting for this, so let's get into it. This is my front door, and then immediately to the left is my library office. So let's go ahead and take a step in here. Oh, we've got two kitties joining us today. We have Mr. Opie. He's looking pretty grouchy. And we have Mr. Rune. Hello, my love. Hi, Mr. Rune. Our library attaches to the dining room, which is convenient because we homeschool. So the kids can be working at the table and I can be sitting working at my desk. It works out really well. So let me go through what our bookshelves are for you. So when you first come in on the left here, and our bookshelves are floor to ceiling. Somehow magically they were the exact right height with 2 extensions on the top to hit the ceiling. So this bookshelf is mine. It is all my YA books. Da, 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 da. These are all YA, YA, and then all my graphic novels, which are mostly YA. Then we have, as you can see, we have some gaps on the shelf still that I've got some decor pieces in, so that's great. We still have more room for more books. And then right beside it here, we have our library step stool, which we obviously need to get books on these upper shelves. And then we just have a little wall clock and our skylight. If you haven't seen other YouTubers talking about the skylight, if you have a family with multiple children, lots of stuff going on, highly recommend it. That's all I'll say about that. Then we have this giant window, which is being replaced shortly, but it also has, I forget what these are called. I want to say maybe a transom. Is that what it's called? Where it's got like a top portion with fancy glass. I know it's so bright coming in this window that you can't really see, but it's got this glass that looks like little flowers on top. Love it so much. So we're leaving that part. We're just replacing the lower glass. And this window on this side has the same, maybe you can see it better here. This fun little shaped window. So then we just have a little bench on under the window, which I bought for the cats because the cats love looking out the window, but actually it's my dog that lays on it most of the time. This is her favorite spot, which is why she is in another room right now, because otherwise she would be here and in the way. We have a little cat bed that nobody uses, little reading lamp if anyone wants to sit on this bench and read. And then we have our next bookshelf. This is all our She Who Shall Not Be Named books. Each, me and each of the kids have their own set, all different sets. I have a lot of opinions about the whole separating the author from the works conversation, and it's not really something that I want to talk about, so that's what is there. At this shelf, we usually keep our seasonal or holiday themed books just so they're accessible. So we still have Christmas books here, and then all of our winter solstice type books. I do need to switch these over shortly. And then just a Pothos. Here are some random kids like nonfiction and stuff that the big ones don't fit standing up. So I just made this small shelf of stuff to lay down and put the kids' nonfiction with it. this shelf, as you can see, I didn't clean these shelves ahead of time, which I did on purpose because I wanted you to be able to see what the library looks like on a regular day-to-day basis. So this is where our picture books start. So we've got them sort of by theme, like we've got all our pride books here, we've got all our pagan and witchy books here, that's most of the shelf. And then all our other picture books are down here. And then we have our learn to read, early readers, stepped readers, whatever you want to call them here. So this shelf is often mixed up and a mess because children. And then if we slide over to this shelf, we have our kids' graphic novels, which is all here. Then we move into early reader, early chapter books. So lots of like Branches books and, you know, lots of Branches books actually. All those early chapter books that my kiddos have loved. Sawyer is just starting to get into these now. He is 7, so that's really exciting. And then we move into our actual like middle grade chapter books. Some of these do still have more like of a graphic nature to them, like these Minecraft ones. It was really hard to organize these kids and middle grade books, I'm gonna be honest. I have our full collection of original printings of the Goosebumps books. I do want to get some more of the special editions to fully fill this shelf. As you can see, it's like slouched over here. I only have 2 special edition, choose your own stories, etc. at the end here, so I'd love to get some more of these to like fully fill out this shelf. And then the middle grade chapter books continue. Got the whole Anne of Green Gables, Emily of New Moon, all the Lucy Maud Montgomery books, of course, because we're Canadian. And more middle grade chapter books all the way up to the top there. So that's all the kids' fiction for the most part. And then I have my desk. So I have this stool underneath my desk to keep my legs up because pots, and it's actually really convenient because it holds like hard drives and stuff. And then I have my desk. I have my little decorated window and my little ring light just sits right there. So this is where I do all my YouTube editing on my desktop. Sometimes I write here. Typically when I do live streams, it's in this spot. So that's sort of the kind of work that I do here. And then beside my desk, down at the bottom here, we have our just, I call it our adult shelf. It's got adult thriller, horror, and just like adult literary fiction, women's fiction, like all the things. So that's what's on the bottom here. And then right beside my desk, super convenient location, is all my writing craft books. There is a lot of them. I've read, I'd say probably like 80% of them. I definitely have some reading to do. And then the next 2 shelves are all my pagan and witchcraft resource books. And then I have a very small shelf of poetry. I do want to collect more poetry. And then I also have the complete works of William Shakespeare there. It just felt like he fit on this shelf with Robert Frost and Diane Marie. And then my top shelf here is just my random adult nonfiction. Memoirs, stuff about gender and sexuality and homeschooling and all the things. That's just all my nonfiction up there. And then this small shelf on the side is all our homeschool books. So it has been separated loosely by theme. So like, as you can see, this is all like art, photography, writing, etc. This shelf is history and geography. This shelf is like animals and nature and science. So that's all divided in those ways. And again, you can see we've got lots of room for more books, which is always ideal. These plants and decor pieces can always move. We've got just another little light here. This is the entrance to the dining room, which is always a disaster because it's full of children 24/7. And this does have really beautiful glass pocket doors, original, I think, to the house. The house was built in 1909, but they don't work. They don't slide properly. They get stuck at one point and then you can't get them back in. So we need to have someone come and fix those for us because it would be really lovely to be able to close off this room without losing any light. And then on this side, we have, this is mostly my partner and my eldest's shelf. This is all the sci-fi and fantasy books. As you can see, we've got little alien decor, lots of Brandon Sanderson, and lots of J.R.R. Tolkien as well. My eldest, who is 13, is obsessed with Lord of the Rings. So he has multiple copies of all of them. And that Silmarillion up there is actually a first edition, which is very cool. Yes, so lots of sci-fi and fantasy on this shelf. And that's what they typically read. And then we're back to little Opie on the chair here, just a cozy reading chair. There are some patches and painting we need to do because, as you know from my previous videos, we had an electrician come and put a ceiling light in this room. So we have lots of patching and painting that we need to do, and there is, I love these art prints. I can't remember the artist off the top of my head and their signature is not their name, but they're from Redbubble and they're all little like witchy prints with little ghost kitties. She's actually in a library. Very fitting. So that is my work in progress library / office. We just call it the library because that's mostly what it is. Like, yes, occasionally I sit down at the desk and do some work, but it's mostly a library. It's a lot of books. It's like 1,300 and something. And I also have a TBR shelf upstairs, just a little shelf by my bed, but it's got probably, I don't know, maybe like 20 or 30 books on it. So that's where my TBR is. There are some books in the library that I haven't read, but anytime I bring new books in the house, they go on that TBR shelf upstairs so that I'm trying to get to the new things as soon as they come in the house instead of shelving them in the library and having them sit here. And if you're curious, I do actually keep my library organized with this app called Book Buddy. Yeah, so 1,334 books. Not that it's a competition, because it's absolutely not. Yeah, so then they can be organized by physical location, tags, reading status, all kinds of things. So great way to keep your library organized. Highly recommend that app if you are interested in organizing your library. I think it is iOS only right now. But it works really well. It's done everything that I need it to do. It scans really easily. I do have a book scanner, like a hand scanner, but I actually just do all my scanning with my phone because it's faster. So that's my library tour. Thanks for joining me. I hope you found it somewhat interesting. If you have any questions about specific shelves, what I've got on them, book recommendations, feel free to ask below. I would love to help you out, especially with children's and middle grade recs. I have 3 children, ages 7 through 13, so I have a lot of recommendations in terms of kids stuff. Unfortunately, I am the type of person where I read a book and when I close the back cover, it's like gone from my brain. I will remember if I loved a book, if I hated a book. If it's one of my like all-time favorites, I will definitely remember more than if it was just an okay book. But on a whole, like, don't ask me for a plot, a character synopsis. Like, I can't tell you anything after I've read a book. So I can definitely make recommendations based on things that I liked or thought was helpful. I cannot make very nitty-gritty specific, like, if you're looking for this trope and this setting, and like, I cannot. So that's why I don't do book reviews on my YouTube. And if I do ever talk about like bookish things, it's more so like, this is my TBR, or this is what I read this month. It's not like reviews, because I cannot. Anyway, that is my library tour. I would love to know how you store your books. I have to admit, at our last house, we had bookshelves in multiple locations. All of the bookshelves I had control over, so not the bookshelves in my children's room, but all the other ones, they were all in rainbow order. And when we moved to this house and set up the library app, my partner and eldest son, who does not fall far from the tree, wants to be an author, wants to work in a library or at a publishing company, etc. They were very adamant that the books be in alphabetical order by author, and so that's what I did. And it hurts my soul. I know that my library could look so much prettier and more aesthetic if it was in rainbow order, which is my preference. Maybe that's because I'm a queer human. Maybe that's just my preference in general. But yes, I would much prefer it to be in rainbow order. This is more functional for a library. I get that. And it's working well. It's not super pretty, and I hate that about it. Anyway, let me know down below how you organize your books. Are they in rainbow order? Are they in order by author last name, by title? Do you separate them by genre like we have here? How do you organize your books? I would like to know. Anyway, that's the video for today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, friends.